Before we begin, take a second and subscribe to Zimbabwe Unfiltered. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates, because what you're about to hear today changes everything we thought we knew about the death of DJ Warras. Tonight, we are looking at new evidence that is shaking the entire investigation. Evidence that suggests DJ Warras's own bodyguard may have been in contact with the Hitman before the killing happened. This is not rumor. This is not street talk. These are developments coming from inside the investigation itself, and if proven true, they completely rewrite the story. DJ Warras was not just a DJ. He was a voice, a movement, a man who spoke openly about power, money, and fear. He knew he was living on borrowed time. Those close to him say he had become paranoid in the weeks leading up to his death, constantly watching his surroundings, constantly questioning who he could trust. And now, after his murder, one name keeps resurfacing in a very uncomfortable way: the man who was supposed to protect him. On the night DJ Warras was killed, everything appeared normal on the surface. He moved with security, followed routines, trusted the people around him. That bodyguard had been with him for a long time. He knew his routes, he knew his habits, he knew when DJ Warras felt safe and when he felt exposed. That alone is already dangerous information in the wrong hands. Investigators have now uncovered communication records that allegedly show contact between the bodyguard and a known hitman before the murder took place. Not after, not by coincidence, before. This is the detail that has sent shockwaves through law enforcement circles, because once you establish prior communication, the narrative changes from a random attack to a coordinated setup. Sources close to the investigation say the calls and messages were not accidental. They were timed, they were brief, and they happened at moments that align with DJ Warras's movements. If true, this suggests someone was feeding information about where he would be, when he would arrive, and how vulnerable he would be at that exact moment. Think about that for a second. The person walking beside him, the person scanning the area, the person everyone trusted as protection may have been silently opening the door for danger. If you're finding this analysis important, pause right now and subscribe to Zimbabwe Unfiltered. This channel brings you the details others are afraid to touch. According to investigators, one of the biggest red flags is how smoothly the attack was executed.
Evening, not so much for the residents here. We're just currently outside Zambezi House, which is that building that Warwick Stock just walked out of before he was assassinated. I'm going to move out of shot, and our colleague Herbert Memela is going to give you some of the visuals of what's currently happening outside. Quite a number of law enforcement officials, specifically the Johannesburg Metro Police Department, as well as private security. Oliver, you mentioned residents, and as things stand, what we do know is that some residents have been lined out outside, just outside the entrance of that building. We're going to walk in and give you those visuals. You'd notice that quite a number of people have already been taken out of their respective units and being made to line out. We're currently just going to go inside. We'll try not to show their faces as well. And it's said that about 200 tenants reside in this particular building. Not too certain at this stage how many of those tenants are legal. Is everyone here paying rent? And Oliver, what we do know at this stage is that just, more or less 400 to 500 buildings within the Johannesburg inner city have been hijacked. Just under 50 of those belong to the city of Johannesburg. We're still moving up there. You'll also notice some of the law enforcement officials who are conducting these raids. We're going to try and move a little bit upstairs to see just how much of this apartment block has already been invaded by the law enforcement officials. That be Herbert is going to just go above us so we get a clearer visual of what is happening upstairs. It's quite a high-rise building, Oliver, so this would then mean that the Johannesburg Metro Police Department have divided themselves as they go unit by unit to get every tenant that's currently inside this building outside. What we do know is that they will then be searching all the residents in this flat to try and verify their identity, trying to really find out as well what it is that they know. And also just talking about hijacked buildings, we do know that a lot of them, they have something in common, and that is the state, the condition of those apartment buildings. What is very consistent and common about these hijacked buildings in the inner city is their condition, mainly dilapidated, using cardboard as windows, broken seals, and also quite a number of them being unhygienic. And now we do know at this point is that we've had some people that were currently of interest from what we understand, but we cannot divulge any more where that is concerned. And we're going to try and move out now, trying to see if they've already started to ascertain whether or not anyone in this building is a person of interest. We're going to try and move down once more. You'll notice it's quite full at this point. And it's quite hard to move, actually. We're going to try and go back outside to see what the plan here is. I did mention that about 200, just over 200 tenants in this building, sorry, Papa, and not too certain what method they'd be using to search these particular tenants. Are they going to go unit by unit, Oliver, searching this apartment building? Will they then be having enough law enforcement officials to go unit by unit? We will confirm with the MMC of Public Safety, Mqini Chagu, who's currently here as well. Not too certain if he's going to address us now during the raid or just after the end of that particular raid. We're now just moving outside. You'd also know that we cannot at this stage speak to any of the tenants at this stage until they've all been checked by the relevant authorities. Now, we're also just going to show you they are not allowed to leave this building. They're all just being extracted from their units and being placed here by the entrance. It's quite a lot. It's quite stuffy. You'd notice some people with babies and really some of them already just complaining, really. Just some of the murmurs that we're hearing. And some people, of course, using profanities and really mentioning that there's really no need to conduct the search. But the law enforcement agencies remain adamant to say this is exactly what needs to be done. Now, this operation forms a part of the city's mission to try and reclaim the city. We do know that Warwick Stock's murder has brought to the fore, to the spotlight, once again, the issue of hijacked buildings in the inner city. Almost 400 or just above 400, no one knows for certain just how many buildings within the Johannesburg inner city have been hijacked. And also at play here, and I think it's a very important question, is this kind of raid sustainable? Would it then have happened had that murder not taken place? What is the long-term plan? Those are some of the questions I will be asking Mqini Chagu for Public Safety. I think we'll take it back to the studio for now as we try and assess the situation a little bit more. This bulletproof vest is actually also quite heavy.
The hitman knew exactly where to be. There was no hesitation, no confusion, and no searching. That level of precision usually only comes from inside information. And insiders don't come from far away. They come from close. Witnesses have also come forward saying the bodyguard's behavior after the shooting raised eyebrows. Instead of shock, they noticed calm. Instead of chaos, they noticed control. Of course, none of this proves guilt on its own, but when you connect behavior, timing, and communication records, a pattern begins to form. There is also the issue of the missing minutes. Investigators are reportedly focusing on a short window of time when the bodyguard was unaccounted for, shortly before the killing. Phone data suggests movement that does not match his initial statement. This discrepancy is now a central focus of the case. What makes the story even darker is that DJ Warras himself had reportedly warned people that betrayal would come from someone close. In previous conversations, he allegedly said that if anything happened to him, the truth would be uncomfortable. At the time, many dismissed this as paranoia. Today, those words feel like a prophecy. The hitman, now identified by police sources, is said to have no prior direct connection to DJ Warras, no history, no public beef, no online exchanges. That raises the obvious question. How did he know where to go? How did he know when to strike? Someone had to guide him. Investigators believe money may be the link. Large, unexplained transactions are reportedly being examined. Accounts connected to associates of the bodyguard are now under scrutiny. Again, this is alleged, but it is serious enough that law enforcement has elevated the case to a higher level. The public reaction has been explosive. Fans feel betrayed. Supporters feel angry. Many are now questioning how often trusted protectors become silent participants in crimes. This case is forcing people to confront an uncomfortable reality. Sometimes the danger is not across the street. It is standing right next to you. Subscribe to Zimbabwe Unfiltered if you want the truth without filters, without fear, and without manipulation. Police are also reanalyzing CCTV footage. Footage that was initially dismissed as irrelevant is now being reviewed frame by frame. Investigators are paying close attention to body language, positioning, and moments where protection should have been tighter, but wasn't. Small details often hide big truths. One source close to the case said something chilling. They said this wasn't a hit built on rage. It was a hit built on access. And access is everything. The bodyguard has not been formally convicted, and it is important to say that clearly. These are allegations under investigation. But the evidence trail is growing, not shrinking. Each new discovery raises more questions than answers. Why were there calls before the murder? Why was the hitman so confident? Why did security protocols fail at the exact moment they were needed most? And why did DJ Warras feel unsafe among people he paid to keep him alive? These are not conspiracy questions. These are investigative questions. As this case continues, more witnesses are expected to come forward. People who were silent out of fear are now speaking because the truth is finally starting to surface. Fear thrives in silence. Truth grows in light. If you appreciate detailed breakdowns like this, hit that subscribe button right now and support independent storytelling. The death of DJ Warras was not just the loss of a man. It was the exposure of a system where loyalty can be rented, protection can be sold, and betrayal can wear a uniform of trust. This story is bigger than one bodyguard. It is about power, money, and how close danger really is. Investigators say arrests are possible as the evidence solidifies. Phone records don't lie, financial trails don't disappear, and time always reveals what people try to hide. DJ Warras may be gone, but the truth about his final moments is fighting its way out. And here at Zimbabwe Unfiltered, we will continue to follow every development, every leak, and every confirmed fact. Subscribe, stay informed, and stay questioning. Because the most dangerous lies are the ones we accept without asking who benefits from them. This is Zimbabwe Unfiltered, and this story is far from over.
Yeah, Lopang, if you can hear me, just perhaps to get this from you, if you've had an opportunity to speak to any of the tenants occupying that building right now, are they aware of what happened a few days ago outside that building with the assassination of Warwick Stock, DJ Warras? And how many of them know about perhaps any leads or information pertaining to what the motive could have been and who potentially could have done it?
A number of them actually do know of that murder. We also did try to speak to them off camera, some of them saying that they do not feel comfortable, and which is expected. Law enforcement officials have also urged us to just wait until they've addressed the residents. Some do not know what this raid is about, but some already know, or really assuming that this definitely has something to do with the death of Warwick Stock. But also hearing from the sidelines as we walk through this building, some people saying, but if they're looking for the killer, why would the killer be in the same building? That is of interest, Oliver. And it's also really quite an important question as to how will this operation, this raid rather, assist in apprehending the right suspects in this particular matter. I think we see some action. I'll just try and see what is currently happening here. It's really quite a tiny space, Oliver. Now, this is where all these residents are really packed up at this entrance. They're not allowed to leave. It is quite stuffy. It's also quite really hot. So all the residents that are lined up here, Oliver, most of them don't know what forms part of this procedure. A number of them just really asking, okay, what is the plan here at the moment? We also did see some law enforcement officials walking in to try and maintain peace and order as they remove the rest of the tenants. There's absolutely no way we can go all the way upstairs due to the traffic that is currently just outside the entrance of the building. I think we'll wait until MMC Tragu can give us an update on how many people have been arrested, if any, what has been found here. We also do know, this is just us speaking generally, that hijacked buildings might look dilapidated, but quite a number of criminal activities takes place in a lot of these hijacked buildings, syndicates, criminal hideouts, as well as drug manufacturing places. So those are just some of the things that we are interested to find out. What is it that they found specifically in this building? Did they find any person of interest? And were they able to get any more information that could assist with getting or apprehending the right suspects in Warwick Stock's murder?
Just lastly, Lopang, on this. One, is this the only building that's being raided by JMPD this evening and this weekend? Do you know of any other buildings that either are being raided or will be raided in the vicinity as well? And just lastly, the tenants, we know that this particular building, Zambezi building, is a hijacked building. What information has the tenants provided pertaining to who it's been hijacked by?
Oliver, let's just start with the second question. The residents say they are indeed paying rent, but they will not mention who they're paying that rent to. And that is also what the law enforcement officials are trying to gather. But we have some residents here. I'm not too sure if they'll be able to speak to us. They definitely don't want to be in front of camera. Sisi, you're not on camera, but if you don't mind, you can talk to us. Are you paying rent here? Are you paying rent? And how much do you pay?
No comment. 1.2. No comment. No comment.
1.2. Just one of the residents here, Oliver, who we're obviously not going to show on camera, saying she pays rent, the amount of 1,200 rand, and they won't say who they're paying this rent to, and a number of them really fearing to talk to us, as we have tried on and off camera. And the first question you asked being the fact that, is this the only building that's currently being raided? As far as we know, yes, this is the only building that's currently being raided. The media advisory said that they would be raiding multiple buildings, but as things stand, it seems as though this building is of interest, and